That you're going to be using is thermal imaging. So you guys should be able to see me in there. I'm the orange, red, and yellow guy. If you were a bachelorette party, I would be the hottest thing inside the video. Yes, chuckles, chuckles. You're going to have a good time. Awesome. So what are we looking for with this? What do you think? Not heat.
Cold.
Cold. Right. Good job. So we're looking for cold spots. Finest is all over this, man. Now, yeah, I'm not a ghost. That's why I'm orange and yellow. So those are the warmest things in there. The coldest things in here are going to be blue and black. So we're looking for them to either move or to take shape on their own. So again, I look for 15-degree temperature drops. The way I have this video set up is that, by the way, this is a FLIR camera. Like, this is the real deal. This is not a phone app or anything like that. So I have a blue dot that's bouncing around the screen that's kind of helping you find the coldest spot in the frame at that particular moment. So that way it kind of helps guide your eye when you're watching your video, getting back to you. But again, it's not always going to be the anomaly that I'm always looking for. It just kind of helps, like, I can measure things that way. I'm usually looking for 15-degree temperature drops from ambient. We're about 69 to 70 degrees tonight. I do keep track of that for you. But this also has an ambient center crosshairs on it, so that way you can measure whatever you want to. So with this one specifically, I'm going to go ahead and stop. Left on me, good job. And then yours is that click button. It's a real fast click. Make sure you guys get it. Perfect, you're on. All right, so welcome to a parking lot. You made it. Congratulations. So, London's excited. And by the way, the full moon is in full view, so if any of you are werewolves, I need to know now, because you're about to break out. All right, cool. So this is the Eliza and Charles Pinckney mansion site. Their mansion sat in the front of this space, facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant over there and came all the way across, and we are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. I would like to give you the layout of where we are when we're doing that. So, with that said, who the heck were these people? Oh, all of you communication device people, I am not going to be giving you questions like what color was George Washington's white horse, like what we did over there with the big red barn. So you're going to get the answers from your spirit boxes. Now, with that said, Eliza and Charles had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 Charleses. That's why we look for the secondary clue, so we know who we're chatting with. Now, the son and the nephew, signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. Pretty big deal for us. Looks like we actually have a new friend that's kind of chilling out with us. Awesome. As you guys see, the homeless person sitting up in front of the gate there.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to stay away from that area once we spread out. Signers of the Constitution, but I'm not a fan of politics. I don't want to talk about politics, and neither do any of you. So we're going to be talking about Eliza. She is way cooler anyway. Eliza married Charles, her husband, at a very young age according to today's standards, not the colonial times that she came from. If you spirit box folks are going to be asking her how old she was when she got married, you're not going to hear numbers like 12 and 14. Think of today's standards. The reason I bring that up is because her husband was over double her age. You may get either number. It happens all the time. Or the number of years they were married. We've seen that a lot in the past too, because they can't grab the exact age, they grab the number. So with that, she married him because her father was over in England and he thought he was dying. Eliza didn't think he was dying, so she stayed put. He was trying to bring all of his children back home so he could see them one last time. She stayed here and got married. It was 1744. You don't get married in 1744 for a green card. You get married because you're in love. We're not even a country yet. You can't even get a green card. But she was correct. Dad did not die right away. Instead, he started sending her gifts from England to this space. One of those gifts happened to be the plant seeds of indigo. You guys have been here for at least an hour or two that I know of. You've seen the word indigo in Charleston somewhere. I can guarantee it. If you're not familiar with it, it is a blue dye. It makes blue dye that makes your blue jeans blue. That's how we use it today, and nobody has it on tonight. You got blue jeans on? You're close to it. Yep. They look dark. They can't be black for me. But anyway, when she got these seeds, she didn't know what to do with them. She had to learn from her slaves how to keep it cultivated. It's not always hot here, as you can always see right now. Some of you even have jackets on. But when she figured it out, she moved it to a plantation, called her father back up and said, rice plantations are going downhill. We're going to make a killing with this indigo. And we now have an international businesswoman during colonial times. This is the 1700s. This is something absolutely unheard of. That's the boring stuff. We can already see Olivia starting to dance around, so we got to get this party moving, right? So,
did she have a kid by any chance?
She did.
Yeah, it's a child and pregnancy. Right in a row.
This is going to be rough. So, here's how this goes. I normally kind of go through and assign all of the communication devices a set or a series of questions. If something else fits your fancy that you're more curious about, by all means, ask those questions. But we will be spreading out in this area, obviously staying away from our friend at the front. But we're going to be, very cautious. I'm going to be bouncing around with all of you. I'm going to have to keep Tom behind so I can show him how to use that motion sensor. But here are the questions. I'm going to go around the horn. I don't have a series of questions yet, so you're just going to cherry pick off of whatever else I give everybody.
Okay.
So, Erin, with yours, have I screwed anybody's name up yet, by the way? Except for Kristen forgetting? All right, cool. So, Erin, with yours, I want you to go after Eliza's death. So that spirit box loves to give us those type of answers. So that would be how old she was when she died, what she died from, where she's buried, and what president was a pallbearer. Okay. So again, lots going on there. Just think of questions about her death. So the two of you kind of working together on the same type of spirit boxes. The children, there were more than just one, right? We talked about Charles already, signer of the Constitution, but you can ask how many children and what their names were. So anything more than that, we're going to be poking the bear at a tragedy that occurred, and we don't want to remind her of it, even though she might be giving us clues to it already. Okay. So we don't know that yet until I hear some names coming out of other spirit boxes or even your own. With yours, the mansion's not here anymore, obviously. Ask what happened to it and when did that happen. So you're looking for a full date, and we will get the full date, at certain nights. Hopefully tonight is going to be one of those evenings. With yours, what are we going to go with yours? I think I'm going to have to double up on it. We're not used to that one yet, so we're going to go with what happened to the mansion again with yours, and then when did that happen. So that date could come in the form of actually the month, like February, March, but we're looking for the numbers of that specific date that it actually occurred. They're very specific. So if anything else fits your fancy as far as other questions that I threw out there, because you're not getting answers to the questions I gave you, by all means, do it. Just don't poke the bear. This is a very respectable family, so we're going to keep it respectable. But we're going to spread out again. So Tom, I'm going to keep you behind. Cameras are already rolling. We do not go near vehicles or next to vehicles, just so you all know. So let's have some fun. And London, go ahead and start working with Nicole and Olivia first.
Or does it need to reset it?
It is straight ahead next to the white jeans. Got
Do
it?
I need to reset or anything at this
Yes.
point?
So yours.
I mean, nothing really made sense.
Yeah,
to
so
me.
when it's a reset is counterclockwise till it clicks, and then back up a quarter turn to 9 o'clock.
Okay.
It does other functions, but I keep it on. We're trying to keep it simple at this point.
Sure.
So, because it does give yes, no. It gives emojis, which I think are stupid because 1,700 people don't know what the hell an emoji is.
Right.
And it also gives numbers, but it doesn't save them. So it's almost like you have to be very specific.
So I'm just
Are you
looking for it to
laughing at me?
spell
Yeah.
a word, or
What's that?
am I looking for it to spell actual words? Like a
With yours,
basic
we've been
word,
asking
or-
Eliza's initials.
Okay.
And one of the first nights that we used this, sorry, Tom, I know I told you to hang back. We actually had the letters EULZIA show up. So,
okay.
So it's all of Eliza with a U added in, jumbled up.
Okay.
So I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, I was very excited. We've been getting initials, so,
Okay.
EP, Eliza Pinkney,
Okay.
So again, her name was Eliza Lucas Pinkney, if we want to get specific. So
Okay.
ELP, she's very specific about that Lucas being in there.
Right.
So we're going to kind of keep that in there. Have some fun with it. And this is actually part of the reason why I gave it to you. You already told me you're kind of a little skeptic. So this is a brand new device. So if anything's going to work, like, this should be the thing. Even though it hasn't been super productive for me yet, you're going to see how, like, we can actually interpret how things can actually come out instead of being in direct
Sounds good
measures.
to me.
Nice. 7. Now a 3.6.
I just pulled this up.
Well, that's not going to do anything for the numbers. Yeah.
Okay. Will you
All right.
swap
Yeah.
around this?
Yep. Nice
Okay.
slow motions out of the camera. You did have a 7. Good. So you actually saw something already.
So actually,
You know, just keep me in the.
Huh? I'm just trying to keep, like, your hands or something in perspective.
I'm supposed to be talking to them.
Sure.
I don't know what a B would be. I can't buckle my purse.
Have you found any cold spots? No. I mean, everything in between this ground, of course, but Ask her what her name is. Ask her her maiden name. Ask her. Brenda.
Anything cold?
Not a thing.
Think they left with the house?
Hmm?
Think they left with the house?
Yeah.
I've heard 97.5 twice.
97.5. She's getting a radio station.
97.5.
97.5. Charleston, South Carolina.
All right, Kristen, find us. How's it going? Hard to hear? This is kind of on my neck. Hold up, it's not getting it. Yeah, you guys will notice, like, you'll look at each other and say, did I just hear this? You know, and that's kind of the tell, because I see it all the time when people share the earbuds. They turn to each other, like, did you just hear the same thing I did? Yeah. It's okay. Again, it's a hard device to use, and this is a new upgrade. Before we were just using this guy with a ball speaker, no noise canceller. So it was really hard to hear out here. It was like 5 years old. So when we had this auto noise canceller, we could take a headphone, and that was another feature. It's the exact same way the Devons works. So they're working the same way. This is only the second one. So again, it literally can toy around with it at home to make sure that the settings are right. I didn't get a chance to use it on an investigation yet, so it's kind of like a guinea pig at this point. So, with your camera, again, it's not always a real-time find because the camera's so small. That's why I send them to YouTube so you can watch it on I watch it on the watch.
And a tang.
Just a B and a G. I've been all in here asking questions.
Well, it's upgraded all the lights on that guy and the camera. The camera that's kind of this is a whole new upgrade. So you guys are kind of he's getting all kinds of reasons.
On the car.
So with yours, again, not always a real-time find because it's a small screen, but with this going to YouTube, you can watch it however you want to. When I spot check them, for every 1 minute, or for every 5 minutes, I watch 1 minute. So if I see a cold anomaly in there, great. I take some screenshots of it, send them in your data, but otherwise you get the full video back so you can check it out for yourself. You can also use these as EVP audios too. Sometimes things will slip through on here that we didn't capture here.
Right.
Obviously, we're not always together. That's the great thing about having these videos with audio as well.
Good.
So, but yeah, I figured you would get into this because this is a good thing to see.
Yeah.
Like, especially, you know, having a little bit of skepticism, but you're still into it. Like, you still want to see some actual evidence.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and the things I caught on there, it's not an every night thing. So when I do catch it, it's a holy shit moment. I'm just going to put it out there.
Sounds good.
23 and a half.
I heard judgment, white light, sisters, death.
All very vague, but definitely all death related, I would say.
Pick up anything cold yet?
No, there's right here and everybody. It's like really cold. I don't know.
We're dead inside.
Bunch of cold hearts.
I did. I asked Eliza how she died. In the city here and in her house. Right. Right. Yeah.
Anything else coming out of yours, Nicole? Anything else coming out?
No.
Okay. Devin, Aaron? You guys got anything else coming out for you? All right, let's get everybody to the back.
Brenda.
Actually, wrap this one up. Let us bring people back for us. Come on over, Brenda.
I had a 14.4. Good stuff. I like those numbers.
Yeah. Hello.
Brenda, you've been hiding from me. What have you
I'm
gotten
just
on
trying.
that?
I hadn't gotten anything, so then I reset again, and so I was walking over and I said, "Did anything significant happen?" And then I had the F. So I don't know. Did you say there was a fire or no?
It was a fire. I
And
did
then
not say that.
I said, "Did you get hurt?" and then the O came, but
Yes,
I don't
no
know what the
questions,
O.
though. You can use them.
Oh, I don't know.
Below the red dot here,
Uh-huh.
there's the sensitivity level. So you
Okay.
turn it clockwise to crank it up.
Okay.
And in this location, like it was already pretty cranked up, so I'm surprised
Okay.
you didn't get more letters than what you did.
Yeah, well, I had BG earlier, but then I didn't get anything else for a while. I don't know what BG stands for.
Well, it's very close to big for Big John.
Oh, gotcha.
So again, we will get bleed over from location to location.
Oh, okay.
Just depends on how close we are.
Okay.
All right, perfect. So a couple of things I'm excited about.
Dead.
So now that that car is, out of our way. Dead. Yeah, definitely a ghosty term. Really, really vague. Again, lots of vague terms came out of this, but you guys are starting to get the gist of how to listen to those devices. If you have videos, you can feel free to stop them and kind of give your hands a rest. Again, I can see Finus already did that, so he's like, man, that thing's heavy. It's
Interesting.
All right, everybody, circle around, circle around. Perfect. So, Devin, this is a quiet area, so I'm going to have you mute yours. He's the only one with a loudspeaker. Just so everybody knows, London had a little bit of a stomach ache, so I sent her back to the car. So she'll be up in my garage. Just in case anyone's wondering where did my sidekick go. Gave her the keys and some cash and said, go get something to drink and go back up to the car. She knows her way around town. She'll be fine. Anybody hear anything? Any names? Anything weird? Jordan? Jordan? On the word list?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so I don't have to write that one down. It's doing it for me. Did you hear anything?
Inside?
Okay, we're not going inside. We'll take it. Any letters come up out of yours, Brenda?
Nothing that makes sense, just random.
Okay.
I heard it on Olivia.
You heard Olivia? Oh.
I heard dinner's crowded. And I want to know.
Okay. Whenever somebody's passing through, we'll just kind of part the C's, just so you guys know. Anything else come up out of yours?
Q. Came up twice in there.
Tell me. Said tell me.
Oh, I'm about to tell you what goes on down here. Perfect.
Nice
So,
segue.
Linus, you can start your camera in here too. Kind of get us some footage. We do capture a lot of works in this location because it is a close proximity. A lot of debunking because we get a lot of bugs too. Kind of keep that in mind when I'm going through it. So, welcome to Lodge Alley, everybody. When we crossed over that last crosswalk coming down East Bay Street, that's where the original Charlestown walls used to be, which means you're standing on one of the first streets we ever had. I have the full list of residents of every person that's ever lived down here, which is exactly why I asked you all for names. None of you gave me any names besides Olivia, and I'm not sure what does Olivia on the list. And don't be impressed, the list isn't very long because only 2 to 5 people live down here at a time. But during this 6 to 7 week loop, which we're still on the cusp of ending right now, you guys give me the same names over and over again. Those names are Benjamin and John. Weird thing about that is I don't have anything else about them other than that they lived here at the same time and that John likes to give us his last name. His mother was evil. She named him John Johnson. So we do get Johnson, John, and Benjamin all in the same evening. That's 2 out of 5 people that lived here in 1801. Here's why this is happening. You're standing on Belgian blocks. These bricks have been here since 1739 that we know of. A few hundred years, we'll call it that. Stone tape theory basically states that any natural stone, like these, that are made out of granite, that's natural, can hang on to the memories of the things that occurred in that space. So, it's basically spitting it back to us in our electronic devices for us to be able to record it on a loop. That's what they call a residual ghost. So, do I expect you guys to hear Benjamin and John tonight? I didn't know what we were going to get in real time, but again, I'll be searching pretty heavily on our walk towards here and while we're in here. So again, I kind of stall here and give you a little bit extra history because we do get other clues relative to the space that don't deal with the stone tape theory. Why this is called Lodge Alley is because the Freemasons had a Masonic lodge here. They Lodge Alley. Kind of see the joint piece now. What's funny about this is those of you on earbuds, you will often tell me that you heard the word Illuminati as we're entering the alley. The weird thing is you're listening to radio stations. Who the hell is talking about the Illuminati on the radio? So 6 times last year, 3 times this year, and it's before anybody knows anything about Freemasonry being present in this alley. So they just kind of chuckle and say, I just heard Illuminati. Yeah, that's because the Freemasons had a Masonic lodge here. We do get the word Freemason, we'll get the word Mason, symbols. We get all kinds of things relative that are very vague clues, and the term Founding Fathers has shown up on more than one occasion as well. So if you know anything about the Freemasons, it dealt a lot with our Founding Fathers. But again, this is a very odd space. Now, these bricks that we're standing on are not supposed to have. We're going to let this gentleman pass through. How you doing tonight, boss?
I'm supposed to bring up the ghost, behind the ghost.
He's the ghost. Get him. Trap him. But these bricks, because they're made of granite, and I've done a study on this type of stone, they're not supposed to have an electrical charge whatsoever. So we can measure that with Tom's device. Tom, pick any brick and set it down on the ground, and let's see if we get any kind of reading. Now keep in mind that natural readings are up to 1.1. So you had a 2.5, 3.3. So very slight, but just 2 nights ago we got it all the way up to 8.8. So again, coming out of the ground, I'm not going to expect anything other than a 1.1. I will be writing down a 2.5 and a 3.3. Oh, you're fine, you're fine. But again, those are very small, slight readings, and we're kind of gauging that to kind of see where that 6 to 7 week loop is and try to narrow it down a little bit further. We do capture a lot of orbs in here, like I said, and we've caught cold spots in this location that didn't make any sense either. So again, you have a lot of weird fluctual things going on because the temperatures in Charleston are cooling down. The next alley we're going to go to, I can't take you all the way through it. The reason why is I've been kicked out. You guys have all the blinky lights and all the noisemakers, and I got caught a few years ago. So we're going to sneak in on the one end where tours are actually allowed to go. If you've been through Ghost Tours, Devin, you've probably heard this story a million times, but I'm going to tell it a little bit differently because you're ghost hunting. You guys need different details than the typical campfire ghost story. So we're going to be cutting through a neighborhood to get there, so when we exit the alley, those of you with cameras, turn off your cameras. You can turn them back on when we enter the new alley. We just don't record people's houses, just like we don't record their cars. And I thought I saw like a crowd of people at the end of the alley, so that was kind of weird too. Did we hear anything, see anything before we leave the space? Wow, silence is compliance. Brenda, I do want to see yours. Just because...
It's just going off a lot, but they're just random. I don't see anything. I see the letter M a lot, so I'm assuming that might be for Mason.
It might be. Very vague.
I was getting X a lot over there.
There goes the ex-wife.
Yeah.
All right, let's head up to another alley. Let's go have some fun in the next dark one.
Yeah, there's the M.
Olivia, your name came up. That's crazy.
M again. KK.
Kiki.
Perfect. That timed it just right. We got the whole alley to ourselves. Let me know if you see RI down here in a row.
Okay.
Wait, when it turned up the sensitivity, it sounds like you're getting a bomb.
Sin.
What do you got?
Sin.
We're near a church. We get a lot of religious terms down here. All right. Anything else weird going on with just weird boxes you guys heard?
I also got Jordan Hurry.
Jordan and Hurry. I'll I'll look up Jordan to see if it's on that name. So that sounds like it's a last name at that point. My guess is probably not, but I'll still look at it. Anybody else hear anything on the spirit boxes, Kristen? I'm waiting for like the big one to come out.
I know,
of yours.
I am too. I'm
Like, especially because that's the new one. I want to make sure it's going to give us some good stuff. Erin, anything?
I heard Katie.
I think it's a lot of times when somebody on the tour's name shows up, it's a lot of times we'll get another clue to somebody that you lost.
Yeah.
You have Eliza Lucas.
Let's see if you give me the last together.
Here's the funny thing. The first wife is buried on the other side of this wall behind me. Down this way. As is Charles. So sometimes we'll get CP over here. And that came from other spirit boxes before we even had the but you said you were Katie? Is that what it was? All right. Tom, let me know if you see any numbers out of here. I don't normally expect numbers out of here.
like a 3 something.
Yeah, we've been getting small threes, and I'm just kind of wondering if it's coming from some of the lampposts, because it's been pretty consistent. I haven't been coming in the alley. I normally tell this story outside the alley, because again, I've been kicked out, and I'm going to tell you how that happened. But let's kind of go through the history here first. This is Philadelphia Alley. This is where it used to be called Dueller's Alley. So the duels used to occur here. Not all of them, but some of them. It was pretty well known for dueling. So with that said, everybody tells the same story, but different details for ghost hunting. A doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. He moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She has an attorney helping her out with all of this cash. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money, so he tells Amanda, get rid of this doctor guy. So he comes down to Charleston to prove that he's not after her money. As he's coming into town, a coachman set him up to be robbed and killed. Because he looked like he dressed pretty well, he just graduated med school, he's got some cash, let's kill him. But somebody was walking by and seeing what was going on. His name was Ralph Isaacs. I'm going to stop on Ralph because Ralph has the same initials as to where the doctor came from. Ralph Isaacs, Rhode Island. RI showed up here a lot, even before we had the digital Ouija board. So it was showing up on different types of spirit boxes. We just need a secondary clue, 2 different characters. But anyway, Ralph tells the doctor, you don't want to stay here. I know this guy, he's going to try to kill you. I got some friends at 59 Church Street. You can stay there, and you'll be good to go. You'll be safe. Dr. Ladd takes him up on the offer, and they become friends. The longer the doctor's here, the more money he's making, which means he's proving his point he wasn't after Amanda's money. And Amanda's moving down soon, so that way they can get married. Dr. Ladd becomes known as the Whistling Doctor. It's a cliche. Every haunted city you're ever going to visit in the future has a whistling ghost. I can put my paycheck on it. But we do actually have proof of this one from the tour, so I'm going to get into that. But him and Ralph go see plays together. They can't sit next to each other. Why? The doctor makes more money. He gets better seats. It's just the way the hierarchy works. So they go see Richard III one night, and they're talking about the play on the way home. They start arguing. Dr. Ladd thought the new actress in town was fantastic. Ralph, not so much. It gets really heated when Ralph starts insulting the doctor's fiancée back home in Rhode Island. Anybody insulting his girl is going to be trouble. So they go their separate ways. But Ralph has a lot of friends here. He goes to his friends at the newspaper and puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a disgrace to society kind of mentality. Dr. Ladd sees the newspaper ad but rebuttals with, let's go to Dueller's Alley. We're going to settle this once and for all. Somebody's going to die. So they come down, they take their 10 paces, they turn. The doctor pointed his gun in the air, and he shot his one shot. He didn't want to kill his friend. He just wanted to prove the point he had the courage and bravery to show up to this fight. But Ralph, he has his one shot. He puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. The doctor doesn't die. He drops to the ground. His friends pick him up. They carry him home to 59 Church Street. And he died 10 days later after refusing medical treatment. You gotta remember, he's a doctor. He probably tried to bleed this out himself. So, a lot of weird clues in there, like fiance, Amanda, doctor terms. 59 shows up here all the time. They also say that what every other tour is going through is that as you walk through here, you can hear the whistles from the doctor. Now, I do have whistles I can't debunk, but I want you to keep in mind if you're going to try to do this otherwise without me and turn on your voice recorders on your phone to listen to later, keep in mind every local knows the story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland or Queen Street on this side is going to throw a whistle down the alley. I do it every single night. We're going to end this way. My garage is right there. When London is still with me, we race to see who's going to throw the whistle first, especially since I got booed out of here. So that's the fun part. You guys ready for this? Like, Kristen's like, yeah, how the hell did this little guy get in trouble? So, the alley didn't always come all the way through. So, this way. So that means the bricks down there are older. And you guys already picked up from all about history, right? So, I would take people down there to show them that those bricks are sun-dried bricks from slave children. And there's a full handprint in one of those bricks from a slave child. You see the size of it. Of course, I just pointed out because it's part of our history. Like, it shows how far we've come. I don't care what diversity I have in the group. We all need to see it. So everybody wants to try to get a reading out of that brick. I treat that brick the same way I do a grave. That kid's not staring at that damn brick in the afterlife. I wouldn't be. So one night, November 26th of 2020, yes, it's a very specific date. I'm getting to it. My entire group of 10 decided they're going to huddle around one brick and wait for a reading to come through.
Oh, wow.
And it's outside the dining room window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. It's considered residential, where tours are not allowed to go. Well, not necessarily keen to all of where we're allowed to go or not allowed to go, because I'm new at this 3 years ago. I didn't know, so I'm still trying to shoot my people along because I see him coming out of his front door and he started yelling. London thought it was great because I'm getting screamed at, and we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't work Thanksgiving anymore. Why? I was a retail manager for Walmart. Take your guess. So, yeah, long time too. But I decided I'm going to take Thanksgiving off, and November 28th I get a phone call. It's Black Friday. Tourism office calls me and asks me to reroute my tour or to go down halfway, which is what we're allowed to do. So I decided it's not fair for my team of 10 to investigate around 20 to 60 other teams that are down here. Again, this is kind of a staple. I timed it where it's not like we're in the middle of them. So I've been telling the story outside of them, and then I was like, the next space we're going to go to, I don't believe in anyway. I've never seen a ghost there. I've never caught anything there, and I'm not a pirate person. I'm into vampires. So I'm going to tell you what I know about pirates, and we're going to see what happens and wing it. Before we left, somebody hears the name Anne on a spirit box. I did not tell them we are going to be investigating the female pirate, Anne Bonny. So I got a little bit excited, and I got even more excited when after I told them a little bit I did know about pirates, because they don't excite me, at least they didn't back then. Somebody else hears the number 300. I have no idea what that means. I'm doing the research the next day, and it all clicks together. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. We were there, and I started going there on her exact anniversary, 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial. So I went, damn it, now I gotta learn about pirates. I've read more books on pirates since then to try to piece together a factual piece of investigation out of pirate lore. Everything we're about to go through has come from a minimum of 2 resources or more. So kind of take that for what it's worth. Trying to piece that together, and I'm a writer. That's what I went to school for. So it was a lot of like digging and diving and trying to figure out what's what. It is a hit or miss location. We're either gonna have a lot going on, or we're not gonna have anything going on. Now the Pinckney Mansion site was pretty vague. I'm sure you all can agree to that. I'm always honest with you. I'm not here to make stuff up like Zach Bagans. So when we get up there, I'm going to tell the history. Worst case scenario, you're going to learn a whole hell of a lot about pirates in Charleston that you never even knew before, because it is kind of an extravagant story. We are going to kind of see other bigger groups. I was expecting them down here, but if we do, we're just going to stay out of their way. We're investigating. They're telling stories. So not to downplay them, but again, you guys paid for a much bigger experience than that. So we're just going to stay out of their way, and then when we do start investigating, we're going to spread out like what we did at Pinckney, but you guys, some of you are going to be out of eyesight. So you'll see once we get up in that area. Aaron's like, yeah, we get to leave Nick and take his gear. But any numbers come up out of yours?
It's been pretty steady around 5, and I got a 13.
13. Wow, you've been getting little tiny 3s, and I'm like, ooh, what's happening? He's giving me 13s
like
now.
5.6. It's been around 5.
So the 5 has been steady, so if you had a 13 spike, that must mean it's coming from somewhere. I'm going to have to come down here and investigate it then again, because it's been a hot minute, and they've added some lines. Brenda, anything coming up out of yours?
No, but the funny thing I noticed is when we first got here and you were talking about some of the history, I was getting a lot of, like, then when you started telling your personal story, I got nothing. Like, no, letters just stopped.
Interesting, isn't it?
And so now when you started talking again, I got, like, M.O. I don't know if that means anything, but...
No. Anybody else got anything on their spirit boxes? The gate behind me? Oh, what do you have, Olivia? I'm sorry.
Replacement, warning, and living.
Definitely not living. The gate behind me, the reason why it's there, the gate itself wasn't there, but the archway was. Remember that the alley didn't always come all the way through. They actually held their livestock here. It was called Cow Alley before Doolittle Alley, because they held all the livestock. But this was the shortcut to get over to the cemetery that I told you about earlier, over by St. Philip's, because otherwise, if there was a loser to the duel, they'd have to carry the dead body all the way down the end of the alley by Queen Street and come back around to get to the cemetery.
Oh,
This
wow.
was the shortcut to go over the courtyard to get into the cemetery. So again, you're going to see, like, once we get around that corner, like, actually how things work. It'll all make more sense. But again, I like to point out this gate because not many people know why it's actually here. My guess on the gate itself is it was probably put here in the early 1900s based on the ironwork from it. So that's a guess. Don't quote me on that one. But a lot of people like to ask me, how old is the gate then? I honestly don't know. I'm not a gate person. I should be because I live in Charleston, but I'm not. I'm all about the ghosts. So let's go up and talk about some female pirates. For those of you recording video, if you want to continue, that's up to you. But if you want to kind of give your hands a break so you can listen in or watch another spirit box or communication device, by all means, it's your turn. See the front of the powder magazine, you have to exit the lot, go in front of the bushes to the left, and it'll be up in front. Just kind of wait your turn for the other tours if they're going to be stopped there, but for those of you with cameras, we like to get some footage there. You can also, if you wanted to, check out the cemetery across the street. That is usually a big finale from other tours. I let them have it, it's their show and tell, but there's a very unique sign in there that says, "There's no ghost here but the Holy Ghost." So again, it's very unique. There is a little bit of a ghost story there. I don't always go through it every night because we didn't get any clues tonight, but if anybody wants to venture off, by all means do so. We're going to know within the first 5 minutes or so if we have any actual activity tonight. And I will tell you that we got the answer to Anne's hair color 10 times about 3 or 4 nights ago. I was stoked. And we moved around the lot, and it still kept giving us the same answer. So I was really stoked. But do you have anything going on with yours, Brenda? You've been super focused.
I see. I don't know what I'm looking for in it, like initials or anything like that. So I don't know if any of that means anything to you. I know when we were first here, the letter NB came up, so I thought maybe that was for Anne Barney, but maybe she did the N instead of just A and B. Oh, is that you?
So whenever you get a full line, I always reset it.
Okay.
Just so it's not like overwriting the next and you're trying to jumble what's already previously there.
Yeah, I kind of followed it around, but yeah, every once in a while I'll flip it off.
I would, as soon as you get a full list and you don't see anything out of that mess, just reset it so that way it's not overwriting the next one. But yeah, let's have some fun. Let's spread out. Again, we got, 2 vehicles in here? Let's just stay away from the cars. We're going to end over there by that wall. That's where I'm going to head, so you guys don't know what you're doing by now.
Hey, Brenda. Do you want to go over there where the graveyard is? Where the cemetery is?
What, babe?
Do you want to go over there where that cemetery is?
Yeah, we could do that.
And then we'll come back over here.
Okay.
Well, ask about Anne's parents. What were her parents' names?
Your parents? Sure, I heard that.
Actually, we won't go over there yet. I can hear people over there.
Oh, they're in the graveyard already.
I definitely want to go around by the powder magazine and over by that building, so on this other side. Are there people out there?
They're kind of lingering.
That's all right.
Trying to get the name of the ship.
Let's go behind us.
You didn't say the name of the ship?
He didn't say it. He said it's very, very unique. So we wouldn't know. Let's go hear about this building.
Her name's Maury.
How big?
Is that big now?
Is the word big?
You know what's funny?
Big ship.
Last night, in this location, we had 3 major clues that were relative to Big John, and I don't know where he's buried. It's unknown, because he was a celebrity, so I know that the funeral home that took care of him was downtown Charleston, but can't find anywhere where it says where he was buried. So we had, I think, it was September, then football, and then stadium. 3 different devices. He was born in September, died in September, so that was a big clue for me. But then I heard football and stadium, out of 2 different people. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Like, maybe Big John's nearby, and now you have the word big.
Yeah.
Like, John, are you following us around here?
Yeah.
It's CH.
You almost have Charles. He's buried across the street. That'd be the
Well,
husband.
that's what we walked that way, but there were people there, so we came back. Let's see if it gives me an S. LB. CLB. CHLB. Yeah. You said you didn't say the name of the ship, right? Because
Right.
I was asking for the name of the ship. And I didn't. We were going to walk over.
may not have any relevance, but when we first walked in here, the first two letters that came up in there was GT, and you mentioned that one being from Georgetown. And I was like, GT, Georgetown, stretch. You never know.
Yeah, it's stretching it.
Yeah. And I'm usually the first guy to say, it's a stretch.
Yeah.
And people send me their photos and videos all the time from their Ring doorbells they want me to analyze, and I'm always the bearer of bad news.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm honest with everything. Like, I want to find this evidence as much as you guys do, but I'm not going to, reach in and grab
legit.
bag. And I'm sure, guys like you appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because, again, I'm not here to make shit up. I'm not here for TV ratings. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
My ratings come from you guys. So if I bullshit you all night long, that's a bad rating.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'll go see this dude.
Yeah, this guy sucks. He has no idea what he's talking about.
Was anybody in front of the pattern anything there? Or was it?
That's the pattern making there, right?
Yeah, they do. They actually
I
come.
didn't know if I didn't hear anybody. We could hear people back over here. We were going.
Oh, they were.
Check it out by all means.
Yeah, they were just in front of the gate. So I
Yeah,
figured
that's
we'd
where
come
they.
right back to
That's
it.
where
Let's
they.
walk over here and see. Yeah, there's a bunch of people. There's a bunch of people down there right now. Is anybody still over at the cemetery? Did y'all unearth something over at the cemetery or what?
Not yet. Still waiting on that.
There's still a bunch of people over there, and then
Find any cold spots?
not much colder than about 69 degrees. So most everything out here is in the 70s. So. Brenda, I'm gonna walk out here just to.
Reynolds shows that many of the landscapers and maintenance workers are able to get and in 1980,
Still a bunch of people out there.
top of the world wall. Reynolds, what he does, he hops over that wall. He goes down to the opposite ivy. We try to get it to the when he gets there, he found, you know what, they actually on the very beginning. Frustrated, undeterred, what he does.
Going there. I guess. Over there.
Huh?
So I might go in your house and get in here.
Well, let's wait till we get done.
Oh, this group's coming back in down here, babe. Maybe we can go down there.
Are we supposed to meet over here?
Well, I'm just going to try to go down to that powder magazine, but this group was down there and standing in front of it, so. Ah, it's free.
Huh?
It's free.
Washington, GW.
Could be.
DMV.
Somebody over there in the old pillory. Was there anybody that was
Coloring. Let's see what
tied up in the pillory? Can we get anyone to show themselves in this parking lot? You are here. Tell me something about yourself. What are you trying to say on that box? Can you tell me your mother's name? Can you tell me your father's name? Are they done at the cemetery?
I hate you.
That would be my guess.
Yeah, right here.
Bye, guys. Have a great visit.
Yeah, you too. Thank you. You get anything?
Here's that sign he was talking about.
What sign?
Right there.
What does it say?
The only ghost at St. Philip's is the Holy Ghost.
I'm thinking.
Infrared, yeah.